Just give me a second here to get all my stuff in order. We should be starting here momentarily, so give me just a bit here to get everything situated, and then we'll start doing the normal going through all the stuff for next month for January. And I apologize in advance, I've got a cold, so I may be blowing my nose and sneezing and all that fun stuff, maybe even coughing. My grandkids got me sick for the second time in 2 weeks, so anyway. Excuse me. So, here we go. Starting off with, of course, like we normally do, we're going to go through the bosses. So the bosses, first of all, we have what looks to be a reused boss, I think. So that's a reskin, pretty sure. Looks to be air and earth, I think. Not sure, but it looks like it to me. And the next one is air and water, as I suspected it probably would be. So, yeah, that's also, I think, a reused boss, if memory serves. So it looks like we have 2 reused bosses. So, not really that surprising, but it is what it is. There's the head of one and the head of the other. I know for certain, or at least pretty sure, this one's been used before. That one I'm not 100% positive on, but... So, number 3 is boss 1, and number 4 is boss 2. Okay, so we'll, of course, I'll show these, of course, later, you know, when we get actually getting to the sheet, but that's that. So, moving into the armors, and it's still showing I don't have anybody online yet, so that may in fact be wrong, but no, never mind. Just showed 3. The number just jumped up to 3 from 0. Okay, so there is our first armor. That is what looks to be dual air. Yep, that is dual air. So that is going to be our exclusive. So dual air, so that's going to be armor 1, air, and that is the male. So there's the first one. And there is a reskin. That is the Wildfire Torch plate originally. It's from season like 5, 6, something like that. It's way early on in the seasonals. So that's air and water. So you can see the water droplets there and the air aura or swirl at the feet. So we're going to go to here to armor 2, air, water. And that, I believe, is also male. Yes, it is. Actually, that could be female. Let me look. No, that's male. Definitely male. Okay. And there's the female. So yeah, I was right. Okay, so that's the female of the same one. Yeah, let me make sure I've got the chat opened up here. Hey, everyone. Dual swords? No dual swords. There's more than one image in the files. So for example, this is when the knight is just standing at attention. This is when it's raised up above them in victory stance, or when they're actually about to swing. And then of course there's shields in each different variation as well, and arms of each different variation. I'll get, you know, this is how it is every month, by the way, Brad, if you haven't been here before. The arms, or the armors, and they all come in pieces, and there's one of each, really, of each variation. So the arm down, the arm partially bent, the arm all the way bent. The arm up, the arm down, legs up, you know, etc. So there's one of each. So now there's not dual. It's not dual swords. So just so you're aware, it is not dual swords. There's just pictures of each one multiple times. So that is that one. There's the female of the very first dual air. So our exclusive. That's the female version. And we now have the female of the one we just looked at, which is this one here, but it's the next level down from Ascension, so it's the midway look, if you will. There's another one. That is air and earth. That is the Spectral Fin Scutarius, something like that. It was an earth spirit and water war armor from last year sometime, if I remember right. Hey X-Tops, welcome. So armor 3 is going to be air and earth. This is one of our air and earth for the month. There should be 2, usually. So that is male. And again, that's called the Spectral Fins Scutarius, or something like that. It was a war armor from a while back. There's the male. I wish Windows would stop doing that to me. There's that one, but it's the male version, but unascended. There's another new one. That one is air and fire. That's a massive, like, mace-looking thing on the end of that weapon there. It's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah, so that's air and fire. Hey Manu, welcome. Let's see, Armor 4, Air Fire. So that should be one of the Air Fires. That is the male, I believe. There's another new one. That's Air and Earth. So that one, that could also be, that could be a seasonal. Because Air and Water would normally have been the exclusive. You can't what, Sav? Oh, you can't rock that baby? Okay, whatever. So that's Air and Earth. That's probably going to be a seasonal because the exclusive for this month normally would have been Air and Water. But since it's Air and Air, the Air and Water will now be Fusion. But this is going to be probably one of the seasonals because the previous one, this one right here, the Spectral Fin, they don't usually use seasonals or reskins as seasonals. They have, but it's not a normal thing. So that one, number 8, is now Armor number 2 of the Air and Earth, and that one is male. Kind of a cool looking armor. I like the head, that horn thing, and then the skull sort of thing on the shield. There is, okay, I may have been wrong. That previous one may have been female actually. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's female. That's actually female. So Armor 4 is female, in fact, not male. Whoops. Whoops. No, don't open it twice, you derp. There's female. There we go. And this one is going to be male now. Okay. Alright. And then we have that one's the male. Let me close this and start over because I'm going through armors I've already seen. There is the Spectral Fin reskin. That is Air and Earth. Maybe. Could be. That's the Air and Earth, this one. Yeah. So there's that one. I probably should have taken some Dayquil before I started doing this. There's another new one. That's Air and Spirit. We've got the Air Swirl and the Spirit Swirl, as well as these Spirit effects. That little guy right there is, I mentioned this in previous streams, just like the Earth little blocky bit, that's on every Spirit armor. Every Spirit Shadow Forged. So that is Air and Spirit. Kind of like a bird-looking thing on the end of the weapon there. Twin Geon reboot. I personally don't really care about reskins. I'd rather they didn't do them at all. There's that one. And there is the male of the Air and Earth. This one here, I believe. No, derp. This one here. Yeah. But it's the next step down from Evolution. So, Unascended. Next step down from Ascension, I should say. And there's another reskin of that one. That's now the second reskin of that one. But that's not the Ascended version. Maybe it is. That's the female. Oh yeah, that is the female. So that one is... actually, no, that isn't the second reskin of that one, I think. That's actually the first reskin of that one. That was from the same season as the Terrestrial Halberd. Season 13? 14? Something like that. But it's the Water and Earth instead of the Earth and Spirit like it was before. So this one is the Earth and Water one, but it's been reskinned as Air and Fire. I kind of like that one maybe a little bit better than the original. I like the color scheme on it anyway. Okay, so that one's Armor 7. That is Air and Fire. So that's Air and Fire number 2. That's the female, Evolution 2. Yeah, I forget that the females have slightly shorter horns. They're not quite as... Is it 14? Okay, thanks, Sap. I did do the bosses already, yes, but I'll come back to them in a bit. Hi. I'm not sure who you are based on the name, but I see Nargakuga9. So, I don't know who your name is, what your name is in game or online, but I see the name. Hello. So that's the... Wait, hang on a second, I may have to go back. That one might be... I may have gotten that one wrong. That's the Air and Earth, which was, I think, this one. Yeah. So that one is the Ascended version, I believe. And if I go back to here... I may have made a mistake. That one might be female. This one, I mean, might be female. Let me go back here. Weapons the same. And actually, yeah, this one is female. So my one that I named number 1 here, or Evolution 1 rather, is actually the female one. So we're going to copy that, and this one is the male. There we go. Much better. Okay. Valkyrie Soleplate, Ruby Core Mantle. You mean the Ruby Core Rider? It was the, let me look. Hang on. That is the head of the... Actually, no, I think it might be a combo, now that I look at it. Yeah, it's possible. Ruby Core Rider. Hey, Ragnarok, welcome. Valkyrie Soleplate. Yeah, that's the Valkyrie Soleplate was the Earth and Water from that season. So yeah, the Valkyrie Soleplate would make sense, I think. I don't know. My memory's fuzzy on the older seasons. I could be wrong. But anyway. And it now shows you as joining, now that you're already in the chat. I gotta love that delay. Okay, back into here. That one is the... I think that's the female of this one here. Based on the size of the waist, it probably is the female, because that's the female right there. Oh, no, maybe not. No, maybe that is the male. Yeah, it looks like it probably is. Because there's a little bit of a gap. If you look in right here, there's a little bit of a gap between the shoulder and the arm bit there. There's a little bit of a gap right there. But if I go to the female one and zoom in, oh, maybe it is. Oh, well, there's not much of a gap after all. That's one of the easiest ways to tell. And I've mentioned this before in previous streams, but looks like a chimney. Valkyrie Soleplate is Earth Spirit. Okay, yeah, I thought it was, but yeah, it's the other one from that same season. It had a different weapon, but a very kind of similar look to it. Anyway, I'll come back to that. I'm not worried about it at this point in time. So this one I think is probably the male. Fire Water. That one right there was originally, I believe, Earth and Spirit. Or Earth and Water. It was one of the ones from that same season. I'm not sure. We haven't had, with the exception, I think, of the, what's it called? Harmonic Battle Gear reskin that was reskinned into into Shadow Forged. It was originally Dragon Forged. That's the only one I think that I can think of that's been reskinned from Dragon Forged fully into Shadow Forged. Sorry, cold. The rest of them that were Dragon Forged originally but were used as Shadow Forged didn't have the Shadow Forged effects. And some of the epic ones as well, the early heroic epic ones, didn't have the Shadow Forged effects, the particle effects and stuff that go around them. Like the what's it called? The Battle Plate, whatever it's called, Shell Shock Battle Plate that was turned into Shadow Forged didn't have Shadow Forged effects. Yeah, thanks. I hope I do. I'm tired of this crap. This is the second time I've been sick in 2 weeks. I got better, then got sick again. So, anyway. Thanks for letting me know, email. You're like 10 minutes late. Okay, so I think this is the female of this Air and Fire. I'm pretty sure. I'll come back, of course, if I'm wrong. That's the unascended version. And there's the Spectral Fin reskin. That's the male. Ruby Core Rider. Yeah, that's because it's a reskin of the same armor. I was thinking it might be different, but it may just be the head that's different. Maybe the body is different. I can't remember on that one. No, I'm not allergic to I'm not allergic to KnD. No, I'm actually just sick. My grandkids are germ farms. They got me sick again, and the first time they got me sick. Okay, so this is the raid armor, Air and Water. This was originally okay. So this is a fun one. Originally in the files when I first did this, this is December of last year, so December of 2017. This was originally Fire and Spirit. The armor was Fire and Spirit originally. And this is when all the armor elements got changed around and everyone was upset about all the different elements because there were too many of one element combination and not enough of another. It was actually changed to be dual fire. New Year's? Yeah, I think it was New Year's. So this one was originally Fire and Spirit, but they changed it to be just dual fire, but didn't change the stats of the amulet. So the amulet stayed more of a spirit stat like Amulet, and so there was a lot more HP on a dual fire armor than there should have normally been. So that one is going to be our raid armor, one of the two. And it is a reskinned boss, so the boss looks just like the armor, and just like it did the original time when it was dual fire, or Fire Spirit, whatever. Anyway, so that's one of the raid armors. I'll come back to the other one in just a bit, but maybe I haven't hit it yet, I'm not sure. So this is raid armor number 1, possibly number 2. I may have missed the first one. Air and Water. So that is air and water number 2, and that is, I believe, the male. Oops. So number 8, there is the air and spirit, but that is the female version. I wish Windows would stop doing that crap. It keeps giving me those random temp files. Okay. Stop being stupid, Windows. Okay. Alright. There's the exclusive air and air. That's the male. Yes. Now, I'm imagining we're probably going to have 9, possibly 10 armors in total, so we should be nearly done going through all the different images. Oh, going through the different armors, rather. I haven't gotten through all the images themselves totally, of course. That is the Wildfire Torch plate reskin, air and water now. So that's going to be this guy here, but that is the male base version. Oops. That's the male version of the Valkyrie Soleplate looking one. Again, I'm not sure if it actually is the Valkyrie Soleplate fully, or if it's a combination. But that is this guy here. Yes, okay. So same armor, just the male version. And like I said, the horns on the female are not quite as tall. So if I go to here, just for comparison, the horns aren't quite as long, they're not quite as tall. But it's the same otherwise. Alright. Alright, there's the the air and spirit. I keep saying earth because we're still in Earth month right now. That is the male of the air and spirit, but the unascended version. There's the air and fire. That is the male. I was wrong. So the one earlier, or maybe that's the base, actually, of the air and fire. Mono element raids? Highly unlikely. It's possible, but very unlikely, truthfully. Okay, so that actually might be the base. Yeah, I think that is the base, actually, the male. Yeah, looks like the base. Because the weapon is far more simplified. So that is the male base, I think. I may have missed it. May have made a mistake on that. It may in fact be the this one up here may in fact be the male. But of course I'll come across it and fix it later. That is that's weird. Normally the eyes don't have that light up unless they're that light in the eyes right there, you can see. Normally they don't have that. If they're not the ascended versions, they usually don't have the lit up eyes, or highlighted eyes, I guess, until they're ascended. So this is the air and earth, which was, I think, no, that's the spectral fin. This one right here. So if I move this over and kind of compare the two, you can see the weapon, of course, is nowhere near as embellished, and the shield is much more simple. But the eyes, in here, you can see they're filled out. But if I go back to the one before it, it doesn't have, well, I guess it kind of does. Okay, maybe I made a mistake. That may, in fact, actually not be the ascended version. That may be the... Okay, yeah, I have them backwards. Derp! Okay, yeah. So actually the eyes are lit up in pretty much every version. The difference is that I have them out of order. So this one is actually the unascended, and this one is the ascended version right here. So I have them backwards. So this one, we're going to copy that, and we're going to change it to be 1A just for a second. So I can rename that one as 2, and then rename that one as 1. Okay, so now if I go in here, that makes much more sense. There's much more of a glowy bit to the weapon, and the shield is more embellished. Eyes light up and whatnot. Okay, so this one is probably the base of that same armor. Okay, now that I'm actually paying attention, we can make some progress. Okay. Yeah, that's actually the ascended version of that one, not the evolution 2. Okay, alright, moving on. There's the female base of the air and fire. This one right here. Yes, it is. Perfect. But that is the female base instead of the male base. There is the Wildfire Torch plate, the dual air and water, excuse me. That one's the female base. The air and fire? Or you're talking about the one with the mace? There is no armor with dual swords. Just so everyone's clear. There is not an armor with dual swords. It's a common cause of confusion when you look at these for the first time. If you haven't seen these before, there are not 2 swords. There is 1 sword facing each direction depending on the stance of the knight holding it. There's a shield, there's the head, there's the arms and the torso, the legs, etc. There's just one of each different pose, like the angle this way versus the angle that way. The shield facing forward in attack mode versus off to the side, which is in just standing. So this one you can see here, this is the shield when you're just standing before you actually start a fight. This is the shield in the position you'd hold it when you're fighting. Yeah, there is no dual sword. That's a common cause of confusion if you've never seen these before. Okay, there is our Aaron's... Wait a minute. That's another one. That's another new one, I think. Yeah, that's another new one. That's another air and water. Huh, so there's 3 air waters. Okay, fair enough. Armor 9. That looks to be the male as well. And I'll compare it just to be on the safe side. Yeah, there's definitely 3 air waters. Because that one's air and spirit. Looks kind of similar. Well, no, it's air and water, definitely, because it's got water droplets. And this one here, that's spirit, definitely has clearly spirit swirl effects, the aura at the feet. And then that little guy right there. So it's definitely a 3rd air and water. So there's 3 air and waters. So, Meteor Armor? I don't know what you mean by Meteor Armor. Fusion Tree, air and water. It's possible this one could be one of them, yes. It could be the fusion. It could also be the fusion guy right... This one could also be... Well, sorry, that's Raid. This one up here at the top, the very first one we came across, which it's not likely, but that's the Wildfire Torch plate reskin. So it's probably not the fusion tree. If you're talking about kaleidoscope armor, star metals, yeah. If you're talking about star metals, they haven't used star metals in months, like more than a year. The last two armors that were released around the Season 4, Season 5 time frame, and were pulled back out of the game within about 24 to 48 hours at most. They haven't had star metals since. And even when they were released, actually, at the time, they were weak by comparison to the seasonals from the same time. So, like, for example, I think the stats on average for armors at that time, and my monitor's freaking out. What are you doing, monitor? Stop it. If you can see that, sorry, my monitor's being funny on my side. But if at the time frame, I think the armor stats were around the 4,200 to 4,400 stat range. And the armors that were the star metal came out where they were like, I'm trying to remember what they are. They were like 4,100 or lower, so they were even weak comparatively. When they came out, they were gone almost immediately afterward. Elements for the raid bosses are air and earth and air and water. I did look at the bosses earlier, and let me actually pause really quick. I'll jump back so you all can see them. So this is boss number 1. I'm pretty sure that's a reskin. I think I've seen that one before. So this one is air and earth, and this one has definitely been reused because it was one I was talking about earlier that used to be originally spirit and fire, and that was changed to fire and fire. This one is the same boss but reskinned. And then we have the head, which I'm pretty sure we've used that one before. And then this one is air and water. So yeah, they've been doing adjacent elements for the last few months for both raids. So I think we had Spirit Fire, and then we had Spirit Earth this month. Last month. And then we have Earth and Air this month, and then Earth and Spirit this month. The month before was Water Fire and Spirit Fire. So they've always been, they're all adjacent, really, for the last few months. We haven't had any that are not adjacent. It's the Blitz raids that aren't adjacent for the most part. Okay. This one is the female. Okay, maybe I didn't make a mistake on that one. So this is air and fire. I think it's this one. Yes, it is. Okay. So air and fire. This one, I think, in fact, actually is the. This one actually is the male. I made a mistake on that one. So this one here, number 28, is actually the male or the female. Okay. Let me jump back through those really fast. So we have the base of the female. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong one. We have the base of the female, very simplified weapon, very simple shield, flat. The head, everything's pretty simplified. And then we add a bit more effects to each one of them. There's the, it looks actually like the death masks, if you've seen what death masks look like. Raid boss named after you. I think that one's probably going to be it will be, I think, one of these armors. I just don't know which one. Oh, yours is this month, smartass. Okay. Okay, so then we have the Ascended version. That's the fully embellished version, and it does have kind of a what do you call it? The death doctors that had those big long noses on them. Those noses were filled with like herbs and stuff to keep the smell of death out of their noses. The smell of rotting flesh. It's kind of nasty, but that's what that kind of looks like. That sort of death mask. Anyway, so there's that one. There's the base of the male, evolution 1, and ascended for the male as well. Okay, so that's that. All right, just wanted to make sure I wasn't screwing myself up. So this one is the male. Yes, that one is the male, but that's the version just down from Ascension of the Air and Earth, which was this one. Yes, okay. So I did actually make a mistake on that one. That one is actually the female. So I was right, it's just I have the wrong one. I had them in order initially wrong. So that's female. Okay. There's our Valkyrie Soleplate looking dude. But that's the Air and Fire. I think it was this one. Yes, it was. Good guess. This is the unascended version. Android EU newbie. Thought this was Fortnite. Shut up, Floppy. Smart ass. There's the Spectral Fin reskin. That one was this one? Yes, it was. Okay. That's the female of that one, but the unascended. There is the female of that one. Stop it, Windows. Yeah, that one's the Air and Water, which is one of our raid armors, which was, I think, where'd it go? That one? No. No. Down here at the bottom. There we go. That one right there. But that's the female version instead of the male. There we go. Okay. Now we have the... Okay, I think I may have screwed myself up again. I think that one, the Air and Earth, that was this one. Yeah, no, I keep going the wrong one. That one. Okay, so that one, we'll go back to here. That is the female. That is the female. Okay, I think it might actually be the female base. I think I may actually be okay. But let me look at the male one just for comparison. Pink. They look almost identical, actually. But this one has a slightly narrower waist. So this one is, in fact, the female. Okay, so that one is actually the female. And this one is the male. Ta-da! Okay. You're lazy. It's really more just a matter of how much money you spend. A lot of the time, if you spend enough money, you'll get top if you have the armor lineup for it. Okay, that one is the Air and Spirit we looked at earlier, but it's the female, which I think was that one. Yeah. So that's the female unascended. There's our Valkyrie Soleplate, Air and Fire, which was that one. Yes, indeed. That's the male version. Unascended. Okay, there's our base, I believe, of the dual air. Actually, in this case, it's the female, sorry. That's the female unascended. There's the next step down from the ascended version of the Air and Water raid armor, which was this one. Yes, it was. And that's the female as well, so that was a good selection to make. There's the Air and Water, but that is the female. This was this very bottom one. So we do have 9 armors, like I thought we would. I haven't run across a 10th yet, so... Well, based on your lineup, no, you probably won't. You spent none and got T5. Well, it also depends, like I said, on your lineup. If you have the lineup for it, you definitely don't have to spend as much. Let's see. So that one is the male of the raid armor, which was this one here. But the male, yes, okay. So that's the male unascended. There's the Valkyrie Soleplate, which was this one. Yes, it was. That's the female of that one, but the base. There's the Air and Spirit base of the male. There is only one Air Spirit, though, which is kind of strange. So obviously, if there aren't any more, it's going to be the only Air Spirit. It's going to be the seasonal. I wanted to close you. There we go. Yeah, so there's the Air and Water. That's the next step down from Ascension, which is this one. Yes, it was. Cool. Oops. Did I do that again? I think I just did. Hang on. Oh. Derp. I renamed it wrong. Okay, let's try this. Let's copy that. This is actually the female evolution too, and I'm just not paying attention. That one is the next one down. Yeah. It's definitely going to cause issues, but air armors are generally not very high in defense or high in HP generally. 1200s, maybe 1300 at most, something like that. So it's not likely that they're going to stack quite as much. And there's only really, so far, the one air shatter pet. So it's not going to be quite as useful, I don't think. It'll still be useful, of course, just not as much. So the exclusive for January is, of course, going to be a beast attack-wise. It'll probably be near to the dual fire we just had a couple months ago, but it won't be as strong, and it'll have slightly higher HP because it's air and not fire. But it's still not going to be spectacular in the HP category. Okay, there's our air spirit. That one is the female base, I believe. Yes. Stop it, Windows, you piece of garbage. Stop it. There's the Spectral Fin base. That's the male. That's Air and Earth number 1, if memory serves. And it serves well. Okay. And there's the female right after it. That makes it easy. Okay, that armor's done, other than the head and the ring and amulet. There's the base of our male of the dual air. That's our exclusive. There's the base male of the Valkyrie Soleplate dude, which was this one. Yes, it was. Good, good, good. Okay. So this is the base of the male. There's the base of the female of the dual air we just looked at. There. That's the female instead. Okay. There's the base male of the air and water. Next fire month, yeah, probably will, actually. With the way that the armor increases are going, it most likely will happen next month, yeah. Next fire month, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we did. So there's air and water. That was this one. Yes, okay, so that's the base of the male. Yes, that is the base of the male. There's the base of the male of the air and water raid armor. Did I do it again? Hang on. I did it again. No, I didn't. Never mind. This is, in fact, the male. This is the female. Okay. Never mind. Thought I made a mistake again. I didn't. It was just, I wasn't looking at it closely. Okay, there's the base of the female of that one. Or actually, no, that's the... Yeah, that's the unascended version of the female. That's the Evolution 1. Who knows, you could be right. Personally, I thought breaking 15,000 attack was goofy, but okay, so there's our cape. Kind of zoom in on that so you can see it. Kind of has those little swirls and whirls of an air-looking armor, which is kind of cool. So that's cape. And there's usually 3 images. Let me go through these really quick. Find the other ones. There's some pets in there too. Pets. Where are you? There's one. So we got 80. There's usually 2. 80 and 94. Got it. Okay, so we got that one. We got 80 and 94. So I'm going to move those out of here right now. Cape. So again, just so in case you didn't see it, there's our cape for the month. It's kind of cool. Chances of an air shatter pet. I have no idea. We have only had the one so far, and we have not had a repeat since then. Unfortunately, all I get in this is images. I don't have any idea what anything does, or whether it has shatter or not. As Brad said, yeah, it's probably doubtful. We haven't had one since the lion, and I can't remember the name of it. I only have it on a couple of accounts, but we haven't had one since then. Okay. So there's our Spectral Fin reskin, which was up here. That dude right there. Yes, it was. So that's armor number 3's head. And presumably the ring and amulet are going to be similar to the originals, but the color scheme, of course, being different. Let me go through and get the pets out of here really quick. Let me put a new folder in. Pets. There we go. So we've got 57, 60, 62, 63. 57, 60, 62, 63. There we go. So we've got 57. Okay, got it. And then we've got, back out here again. Oh, look, it's Bambi. Alright. It's Bambi. So 66. Let's get the other ones here while we're at it. 66, 69, 70. 66. Move those out of there really quick. There we are. We'll go back down to here again. Let's get the other ones out of here too while we're at it. There's 76, 83, 76, 83, 91. 76, 83, 91. There's the pets. Okay, out of my way now. So while I'm here, might as well go through them. Okay, so this one, yes, okay, so that one is tier 5, so the first one is tier 5. That one's tier 4, so they actually are in reverse order, as I thought they probably were. Sometimes they're not, sometimes they're out of order, just because of the size of the images. That's tier 3. There's tier 2. And tier 1 looks very much like Bambi. So we have a deer-looking thing. That's our pet. So, anyway. Alright, so that's that. Pets are done. So, moving on. Bambi with wings. Yeah, no kidding. Well, it makes sense. It's an air pet. Just like the polar bear this month is an obviously white-looking pet, polar bear-looking guy, but is for Earth Month. This is a green, very kind of, or brown, excuse me, brown-looking pet. You'd think would probably be more along the lines of Earth, but it's air. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so there is, I think, the air and spirit, if memory serves. No, it's air and one of the air and waters. Is it this one? No. Oh, I'm not even close. Or is that the exclusive? Hang on. That is the exclusive. Okay, don't mind me while I derp. Just forgot what the head looked like. Haven't seen it in a bit. Okay, there's one of our Iron Fires. That's the one that has that kind of nose looking, that face like the death mask face. So that's Air and Fire. I think it was this one. Yes, it was. So there's the Air and Fire with that massive mace looking weapon. It'll just bludgeon you to death in one hit. There's the Air and Spirit I just looked at a second ago. Yes, it is. It's the only Air and Spirit, oddly, in the files. And by this point I've gone through all the armor, so there are in fact 9. There's one of the Air and Earths. And looking at it, that might be our raid armor. I think. Pretty sure. Because it has kind of that same shield bit on top of the head. Like the frog-looking boss does. So let me jump back out to here and show you the boss. Side by side. Oops, wrong one. That one right there. So it has kind of the same horns, it has the same sort of, covering plate on the head, and it even has a similar kind of color scheme. So that's probably the raid armor. I'm going to assume it is, because it looks like it. And the other raid armor, or the other Air and Earth is a previous war armor. This one right here. And doesn't really look enough like it to me to be the raid armor. So this one's going to be our raid armor number 2. So that one right there. Oops, not that one. Derp. One right there. There we go. So this one is raid armor number 2. That's the head for that one. Now we have our Valkyrie Soleplate looking dude, which is Air and Fire, I think. Yes, it was. I'm on a roll. Just kidding, I'm just paying more attention. Yeah, who knows? Unless they start dialing it back or come up with a new tier of armors, there's really nowhere else for them to go. Okay, there's that. And in case any of you weren't aware already, there are already icons in the game for a second tier above Shadowforged and another tier above that. 19.7k attack. That's with pet bonus, I think, isn't it? Or is that with set and all that stuff? I can't remember. It's been a while. I created the stat sheets and I can't even remember. That one is this one, yes. Okay. There's our third air and water. There's our air and water raid boss. There's a raid boss armor number 2, if memory serves. Oh, right, yeah. 19.7, yeah. That's the plus. Yeah. The plus with the set. So that one is the originally Fire and Spirit changed to Fire and Fire raid armor from January of last year. Or December of last year, excuse me. Sorry, one second. I'm just swapping out batteries here for one of my devices. Originally was Fire and Spirit. Changed to Fire and Fire. It was a raid. I think it was New Year's Eve. Somebody said that earlier. I'm pretty sure it was. Sorry, just swapping out batteries. So that's the amulet. It's the same amulet as originally used, just different color scheme, of course. So that one is the air and water right here. Yes. Okay, cool. So that's the air and water. That is the amulet for that one. Whoops, we don't have you open anymore. And I'm going to jump through and really quickly find that. There it is right there. So number 73 is the ring. So that's done. Go back. That one is the Wildfire Torch plate reskin, which was the first air and water we came across up here at the top. Yes. That's the original look to the amulet of the armor. That's just recolored, of course, to match the new colors. And let me jump forward, and there's the ring. That makes it really easy. I got them all done at the same time. Handy dandy. There is the Spectral Fin. That was the Air and Earth. How long have those files above the Shadow Forge been around? I think it's now... It's between 18 and 24 months. Something like that. It's been at least a year and a half. Maybe close to 2 years now. They've been there for a while. The reason why I say at least that is because I've been doing this Datamine thing now for a little over a year and a half, and they were there when I first started. So it's been at least that long. Whether or not they use them, I can't say. People said was going to be green or alien forged. I don't know where you got that information, or where they got that information, I should say, because I haven't heard anything of the kind. Oh, wrong one. That one is this one here. There we go. Spectral Fin. Okay, so Spectral Fin, Scutarius. I did look, by the way. It is Scutarius. So that's the amulet, which is the original amulet as well. And there's the original ring for it. That's handy. They're putting these all in nice, even orders for me. It makes my life a lot easier. Okay. That one is the exclusive. That matches the shield. Right there. Ta-da. So that's easy. There's the amulet for that one. That one might be this one. Maybe not. Huh. Have to look at that one. This one? No, it's not the ring for that one. I already know that one. No, not that one either. That's going to be the original. Maybe. Could be that one. Looks like it has the swirls, has the same kind of golden color effects on the wings, and matches the swirls of that bird-looking thing on the end of the weapon. I'm going to say for now that it definitely is that one. Okay, so it's going to be the armor number 6. I'm pretty sure that's the right one. Definitely has the right color schemes and everything else. So that's the ring for that one. Okay. Stop it. Stop doing that to me. And that is the ring for the raid armor, which was this one. Yes, because it looks just like the head right there. Just right there. Okay, so that one is the ring for that one. There is the air and fire. That's the... Looks just like the weapon, actually, and I think it's the air and fire that's up higher. This one right here. Yes. It has that same look as the end of the weapon, obviously. Whoops. I clicked on the one right above it. There we go. That one. Right there. So it's obviously going to match that one because it has the same look as the weapon. So that's number 4's ring. And that one is the very bottom one because it looks just like the shield of that one right there. There's the ring for one of the air and fires. I think it's probably the same one we were just looking at. This one right here. Let's move this over so I can look at it a little bit. Maybe not. Doesn't really look exceptionally like any part of it. Well, it kind of has that same effect right there in the middle of the chest. It looks definitely like an air and fire ring. It looks like it because it has definitely that kind of fire color to it. I'm going to say it is. I'll of course come back and fix it if I make a mistake, but I'm going to say that that one is in fact this one. Oops, I need to copy the F there. Oops, no, get down there. So that one, I'm going to assume this is the ring for it. Oh, no, hang on. Did I already have a ring for that one? Oh yeah, derp. That one I'm not really sure on. It could be... It shouldn't be this one because they usually match them up to the original ring and amulet sets they used. Let me go up to the top here. So it's not going to be the ring. Well, maybe it's the ring for this one. Now that I think about it, it's entirely possible it could be. Look, right there at the bottom of the shield. It's kind of similar to that, definitely, and it has kind of a similar shape to the end of the face there. Okay, it's entirely possible that's the exclusive, because I didn't have a ring for that one yet. Okay, we're going to assume it is for now. That ring looks earth and air? Well, I would normally agree, but that one goes with this one because it's the same matching set from the original. And this one is definitely the ring that goes with this one because it looks just like the head. And there's only the 2 air earths. So, I don't know. It looks like it could be with the exclusive, but like if I zoom in, it has kind of like an effect kind of in the middle of that diamond there. And I looked at this one here, and I zoomed in, and if you look right there, it has the same kind of design to it, and the same sort of colors. So, I don't know. I don't see any, and it kind of has a similar color scheme right there to the end of the face, to the nose. And it has also some of the same spiky sort of things there. So I'm thinking it has to be this one. I mean, I can't really think of any other armor it would go with. But, of course, I'll come back if I make a mistake and I realize, oh, I'm retarded. That's the one that goes with it. So, I mean, it's not set in stone. That's just what I think it is now. This one is our... I've totally drawn a blank on the name now. The Valkyrie Soleplate era one? I'm drawing a blank. Valkyrie Soleplate, duh. That's the armor I'm thinking of. That's this one. It was air and fire, wasn't it? Yes, it's air and fire. That's the ring for that one. Okay. That is the original ring for that one as well. Derp. Valkyrie Soleplate era, but it is in fact the Valkyrie Soleplate. Don't mind me, I'm just being stupid. Okay, that one is the Air and Earth Raid Armor, which was this one right here. Yes, looks just like the shield. Okay, perfect. That's the amulet for that one. And that one is the ring for... Oh, hang on. Nope, I was wrong. That is in fact not the ring for this one. Okay, so if I look at this, it has the same basic look and feel of the shield, with the same points at the top and bottom, the same looks. Different color, of course, because it's air. But instead of it being like a... Oh, well, I guess it's an air and air. But it looks the same as the shield, for the most part. So I was wrong. That one, in fact, is not going to go with this one. So this one, we're going to rename that one to... Let's put it to 87 for now. There we go. And we're going to rename this one to be the ring for it. Because, yeah, I was wrong. It does, in fact, go with that one. So if I go to here, and I look at that, there's the ring for it. Has that shape right there. I zoom in here. Has the same sort of look to it. As the ring does, actually, as well. Or the amulet, excuse me, does as well. The amulet looks just like the shield, but different color scheme. So I'm going to assume I was wrong, and I fixed it. Yo, what's happening, Tito? Yeah, air and earth. Air and air, yeah. Yep. It's definitely not the right one. I'll come back to it. That one is going to go with our Aaron Spirit, I believe. This one right here? Yes, so if I look at here, looks just like the shield. So that one's an easy one. That's the amulet for that guy. Alright. There's the shield for the Air and Fire, which was this one. Nope, not that one. One above it. This one here. Yes. Okay, perfect. So that one matches the shield, exactly. Like it normally does. They usually do. Not every time, of course, but most of the time they do. I just renamed the wrong damn ring. Hang on, let me undo my last change. That one is Air and Spirit. This one is Air and Fire. Let me do this one really quick. Or amulet. Whoops. I renamed the wrong amulet here. This is Air and Spirit, the only Air and Spirit. So yes, that one is that one. That one is the amulet for that one. I renamed the wrong armor, or wrong bling. If I could talk today, it would be helpful. Good God. Okay, that one is the Valkyrie Soleplate amulet, which was Air and Fire. That one right there. That is the amulet, the original amulet that went with it. It's just recolored, of course. So, we have one ring left, which is this one right here. So if we go back through these, Amulet and Ring for the exclusive, Amulet and Ring for the Air and Water, that's the Wildfire Torch Plate reskin. Deca should think of another way to buff the bosses instead of increasing the stats. Other than increasing the HP, I can't think of a reason or a way they would do it. That's really all I can think of, because right now, with the way that the stats are, even with the increase we just had, not the rate that just ended, but the one before it is where they increased it. Even with that increase, people were still stacking on their Shatter. And they were getting, 20 million point hits and stuff, and it was just taking forever. And if they nerf the pets or the skills of the pets, they will have an absolute riot on their hands. So, I don't think either one of those, unfortunately, is really going to be a good solution. Okay, so Air and Fire, got that one. Air and Earth, got that one. Air and Spirit, got that one. Huh. I didn't even look at this one as being a possibility for that ring. Let me see here. Let's zoom in. Huh. It definitely has a similar color scheme to it, but I don't see that particular look on the armor. Sometimes it's like hidden away on an arm or something, but yeah, it's not likely that they're going to be able to keep up with it. If they keep bumping the armor stats like they have been every season, they won't be able to keep up with it. They'll be playing a losing game. I think it has to go with this one. Just like with the Burned Gallant we had, the Halloween armor, it didn't look, the Amulet ring really didn't look like it belonged. This one, of course, the shield is very clearly the amulet, but the ring doesn't really look a whole lot like it. It's the right color scheme for it. At least similar, anyway. But doesn't really match in any other way. It kind of looks like the hand, like the color that you can see there on the hand and the end of the things and like whatnot, but it doesn't really match otherwise. But it kind of has the same sort of colors to it. So I'm going to assume, for now, since I have no other evidence to the contrary, that this one is going to be the ring for that one. And last but not least, we have our crafting materials. We have an air balloon, and we have a kite. So there's your crafting materials for Season 30. Yes, I know, it's Season 30 already. S30, Material 1, SF30, there we go. And SF3 Material 2. So I'm not sure which one's which. That's just how I name them, or how I rename them, rather. Okay, now it's time to start assembling. So let's first of all take all of my miscellaneous bits here, including the cape and the pets, rings and amulets, and I'm going to do this ahead of time just so I already have it done in the folder where I'm going to be saving all these files anyway, once I assemble them. Copy, and I already created myself a folder for it, so all I have to do now is paste. Ta-da! So we have the amulet, head, ring, all the way down through armors 1 through 9, and then the materials. And now I just have to go back and grab the bosses, copy them into here. Ta-da! There we go. So now I'm going to start the assembly process. We're going to start putting armors together. So we have the first 4. This is going to take a second. And I'm going to have to blow my nose again, so pardon me for a moment. I love being sick. Michael Vault still destroying people with Season 1 armors. Oh, yeah, well, if you have an armor that's any newer than about Season 5 or 6, you're going to destroy Season 1 armors. Of course. That would make sense. Alright. Give me just a second here. I'm just looking. I've gotten messages online. Really quickly check them and see if there's something I need to pay attention to. Sorry. 1 second. Just messaging people. Got it. Okay. Alright, so we're going to start assembling now. So armor number 3, armor number 1. Okay, I'm just putting these back in the order they were. Okay, so here's our exclusive. This is going to be the one we're going to have be our exclusive for the seasonals. And I'll do my predictions of what I think will probably be the seasonals, raids, all that good stuff here in a bit. But for now, I'm just going to be assembling armors. Get rid of you right there. Alright, there's our chest. And rear arm. Let's see, about right. There we go. And the legs. And the arm, the forward-facing arm. So there's that one without anything added to it, so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. And I'm going to put the shield on here now. Very air-looking exclusive, of course, because it has a lot of wings and wind-looking things to it. There's our shield, right about there. Oops, right about there. There we go. Try to get them in the position of where they actually would be holding them. That one there. I may have to, yep, I overcompensated on my copy and paste. I went a little bit too wide on the arm, or on the hand there. I'm going to be overlapping my weapon. I may have to make another layer if I can't get this in there. Oh, never mind, I'm good. Okay, now I can zoom in and blend in the wrist. About like so. Ta-da! Now I get the rest of the weapon, the hilt, whatever you'd like to use, whatever term you'd prefer. Oh, weird. I just noticed something. Sorry, this is new. This hasn't happened prior to now. Usually there's 3 weapons. There's the one that's fully intact in the upright kind of victory position when they're holding it up in the air. Then there's the one that has the hand attached to it without anything else. And then you just get the hand and you put it on the body and you blend it in. And then there's the one that has the pieces of the one that's in the victory stance, like this, right there, and that one right there is the hilt that you would attach to it when, you know, you're putting that like that. So there is no hilt going the other direction. That's new. That's never happened before. So I'm going to have to cut from here on this full weapon, cut it, and then move it onto the other one, which I've never had to do before. So that's new. We're going to go to here, and we're going to cut and paste about that much of it. Should work. And then we'll zoom out a little bit here, or cut and paste out there a little bit, and it should go right about here. So that's new. I've never had to do that before. Huh, interesting. Maybe they're trying to mess me up. I'm kidding. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure the art team could care less about what these look, whether or not it's going to mess me up in my reassembly. So there's our air and air. There's our dual air exclusive. unless they decide to switch it back to adjacent again, which I don't think they're going to do. That's 315, roughly. And there is one done. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go to in the wrong folder. Jumping all over the place. Armor 1, Air. It's odd that the exclusive came first. That normally doesn't happen. Normally you have something, you know, a few armors before the exclusive, but whatever. Okay, here's armor number 1 of the Air and Waters. This is the first of 3. This one is a reskin I mentioned earlier of the Wildfire Torch plate. It was season 5, 4, something like that. Originally Earth and Fire. But they've reskinned it and made it Air and Water, which, I don't know, I kind of like it. I didn't really like the original all that much. Of course, I'm not a big fan of Earth and Fire anyway. So there's that one. Yeah, and I never was really a big fan of the head. It just looked funky to me. Looks too blocky, too bulky. Well, the whole armor, really, in general, kind of looks too blocky and bulky to me, but whatever. I don't work for the design team, so I don't really have a say. Okay, there's that one, and then we have the arm. The forward-facing arm. I mean, it's a cool-looking armor, don't get me wrong. It just looks too bulky, just too much to it. I don't know. Again, that's just me. There's the armor without anything added to it. Now we have the shield, which is also massive, but it was massive on the original, so that's not a big change. Then we have the weapon. Pretty much blends right in there. That one's handy. Okay. And there's the hilt. So the hilt. There's the hilt. There's the bottom end of that weapon. So you've got the piece that's the weapon right here, and then the end of the rest of the handle or the hilt right there. That's what normally happens. So that Air and Air, that was a new one. That has not happened before. So it's kind of strange that they would introduce that all of a sudden. But whatever. Maybe they're going to do it with all new armors from now on. That's fine. I don't really mind. It doesn't take me any more work really to do it. There's that one. There's our Wildfire Torch plate reskin, which is now Air and Water. My computer is in severe need of a reboot, so it's super slow for some reason right now. About 270. That may even be a little bit wide. That's fine though, no big deal. Not too concerned. Maybe I'll do 265. That's a little better. Okay. There's armor number 2. Done. Here's our Spectral Fins Cutarius, which was originally Spirit and Water, if memory serves. Oops. New. There we go. New layer. Not. New sheet. There's the chest and rear-facing arm. Look about like that. And then we have the legs. This time it's actually a useful element combination, because I'm not a big fan of Spirit Waters. I mean, I like the stats of them, generally, but I don't like the non-adjacent element aspect. When it comes to non-adjacent elements, my preference is usually going to be Earth and Water, and maybe Spirit and Water if I had to make a choice, but that's just me. That's what I prefer to see. Okay, so there's that armor there. There we go. Bump that up just a little bit. And let me get this copied, and then I'll show what the armor looks like without anything added to it. There's that one. And then we have this massive shield that covers up almost the entire arm. And we have this massive weapon as well, or it looks like a massive sword anyway. And we have to blend in that wrist quite a lot. Let's see. About right there. Right there, okay. I gotta blend this in a little bit, because it kind of overlaps the existing effect. like so. There we go. Okay. And this one does have the rest of the hilt, or the rest of the handle right there. I call it hilt because that's what it is, but if you prefer, you can call it handle. Either one works. And there's that. I don't know that I necessarily like it any better than the original, but it's cool looking in its own way. But it's air and earth now instead of spirit and water. Okay, so that one is 250-ish. I think that should be good. Yes, almost perfect. Okay. Armor 3, air and earth. And this one with this big old massive mace-looking thing. It definitely has a very Asian theme to it. I don't know that it's definitely more Chinese, but it kind of has that, or sorry, Japanese, not Chinese. Definitely has kind of a Japanese look to it, somewhat. It has the, the face and all that stuff, and it has kind of a samurai-esque looking legs, sort of, I guess. I don't know. Just me making observations. I'm probably completely wrong, but it looks pretty cool to me in any case. But it definitely has a very Asian theme to it anyway. Just like we had with the Bushido Cuirass, and then the Reskin, which is currently the current the current Earth and Fire seasonal, which is a reskin of that same armor. That is definitely has a very Japanese feel to it. Alright, making progress. We are now at about an hour and 5 minutes into this, so we are probably getting close to, we're probably more than 2/3 of the way done. Because after I get done assembling the armors, then I have to just put the sheet together and lay everything out. So most of the work is just sorting everything out originally. And I've mentioned this multiple times before, but most of the work is sorting everything, and then assembly of the armors and the sheet doesn't really take that long overall. Okay, there's the shield. Now, before I add that in, just so people can see it, there's the armor. Whoops, I already made a new layer. Throw that on top of the arm. There's that big old puppy there. And then we have, oh, this one does have the rest of the hilt as well, so maybe it was just the air and air they didn't include it on. This one has it as well, and this is a new armor. I gotta blend in that wrist quite a lot as well. Oh, and I also wanted to mention this before I forget again. I've had a few people ask me if I have any Lunar New Year event armor. This one? I don't know. It could be, I suppose, but it's January. The Lunar New Year isn't until February. People have mentioned this and asked me about this, and I wanted to mention it again before I forget. If you do feel that you want to donate or anything along those lines, I have added a donate button to my main Twitch channel at the bottom below the viewing window. If you do want to donate, that's where you would do it. I don't really have anything else anywhere else besides there. So I can't really, say, oh, it's on my YouTube channel here or whatever. I only can really do it on Twitch currently. So I've added that in at the bottom of the viewing window. So if you're looking at this right now, right below this, if you scroll down, there's a donate button right there. So if you do want to donate, if you feel so inclined, it is there. Okay, so this one is Air and Fire. This one's massive too. 315, yeah, it's one of the bigger ones. I think the biggest armor, still to this day, width-wise, side to side, is the Decatron. Decatron was, I think, 350, 345 pixels. This one's 315, so it's still pretty big, but it's 35 pixels shorter. So it's still not quite as long, side to side, left to right. But the Decatron, I believe, is still the longest. The tallest is the Slipstream Scale Guard. That one is, because it has that massive wing thing coming off of the rear-facing arm, the one that's back in the back right here, that goes up here. It's just huge. It just is massive. And that we had that Slipstream Rebirth, whatever it was, Fusion armor last month. It's the same armor, same looks and everything, but it was a Fusion armor instead. but it's the same armor, and it's massive. It's huge, comparatively, like size-wise. Okay, now we can save you as armor 4. Air fire. Okay, that's 4 of the 5 done. Go back to here. Like I said on your question, Lunar New Year event, I would say normally I would possibly agree with you, except the Lunar New Year's in February. I mentioned that already, but just to be clear on what I was talking about. The Lunar New Year's in February. Either February or March, something like that. So it's not for another month after this. There's armor number 9, armor number 5, number 7, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, perfect. There we go. This is raid armor number 2, air and earth. That doesn't say that's the order they're going to appear in. I really don't know. But this one is air and earth. There's the chest. Hands like bright white. That's kind of cool. I didn't even notice that right there. It has kind of that same bright white look as the face. If you look right here, zoom and put this on here, and you can kind of see it. That hand is like bright white, like the face. That's kind of cool. I hadn't noticed that. Huh, interesting. So this is, like I said, this is the other raid armor, or raid armor number 2. So we have the air and water one, and then we have this air and earth one. This one still also has kind of has these plates like samurai armor plates. Looks like it looks like it could be, yeah. This one also has a very Asian theme to it. But the Lunar New Year's is a Chinese, if memory serves, it's a Chinese tradition, not Japanese. And this one has a very definite Japanese look to it. Copy. This one, yeah, this one does look pretty cool. I like it. But it has kind of these skulls on it, which is not necessarily very... And the hands are different colors. That's cool. Not very necessarily Asian in that respect. With the skulls and whatnot on it, it's not really necessarily all that Asian. But the look of the armor in general, kind of otherwise, is very reminiscent. Has kind of this chest plate, and then it has these plates that go over the crotch area, and then the sides of the thighs kind of comes down and lays on top of them. Definitely looks that way. Okay, so there's the armor without adding anything to it. And the shield, as usual, covers up most of that arm. So you can't really see it. And the weapon has this bright white hand and a bright white blade with a bluish tinge to it. And we put the hand in here, and again, like usual, I have to blend that in. Kind of overlaps the existing graphics, and I kind of have to erase some of it to blend it in. Which is okay, I don't mind. There we go. That's pretty good. And then we have the rest of the weapon right down here. Okay. Alrighty. So there's the rest of that. About like so. Okay, so there is raid armor number 2 of the air and earth and air and water. This is the air and earth, of course. I have about 265. That was actually not that big. Not as big as I was thinking it was going to be. Not too bad. Armor 5, air and earth. Mail. There we go. No, I didn't. I actually accidentally made a change on that and didn't mean to. So this one is the only air and spirit in the files. So this one is obviously going to be a seasonal, since there's no other option, really. Which means the wars are going to be air and fire and air and earth, I guess. No, air and... well, that's weird. I don't know. I'll have to look at it once I get more closer to the being done and have everything laid out. Oops, I went a little too high. Go. Like about like that. There we go. like that. And the arm, the outward facing arm. There we go. There's that one without anything added to it. I've always liked the Air and Spirit armors. They just look cool. And the Air and Fires too. It just kind of sucks that they're not adjacent elements and they're not quite as useful as the adjacent elements would be, especially in raids. Because Air and Spirit just don't do well in most raids unless they are... Oh, it's kind of see-through. This shield's kind of see-through. That's cool. They're not as useful except in off-element raids, like Spirit Water. Alright, and we have this bird-looking weapon here. Kind of interesting. Hoping I'm not going to overlap this too much. Oh, I didn't overlap it at all. Nice. Okay. That right about there. And blend in the wrist again. Doobie-doobie-doo. There we go. And the rest of the handle or hilt is right there. That guy right about. Yaw. There's that one. And this is one of those armors where you can't even really see the rest of the handle back behind him. It goes out to about there, but if it isn't there, you'd probably see that there's a gap between the hand here and then the rest of the body. There just isn't anything there. So I always put it in anyway, even if you can't see it. Which in this case, you really can't. Okay, that one is... This one's also fairly wide, 285. Not too bad, though. Not too bad. Right about there. This is armor 6. Okay, now we have the reskin of the Valkyrie, which is, I believe, now the second reskin, I believe, of this one. Ruby Boar Rider was the first reskin. The original was Valkyrie Soleplate. So the original was Spirit and Earth, or Earth and Spirit, or yeah, Earth and Spirit originally, I think. The reskin was Earth and Fire. This one is now Air and Fire. So they're keeping one element consistent from each change, but they're not. But this one doesn't have. The original wasn't Earth, and the original didn't have fire at all. So, yeah. Anyway, don't mind me while I just yak to fill time. Okay. This one, I'm not really sure if I like the color scheme. I like the original, and I like the Ruby Boar Rider reskin, which was Earth and Fire, like I said. But I don't know. It's cool in its own way, I suppose. Just not sure if I like the color scheme. I might like it better when I have it fully assembled. But as of right now, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm not really sure if I like it or not. Whoops, I zoomed out. There's that one. Before I add anything else. All right. And the weapon, which is again exactly the same as the original, just different color scheme. A little bit of blending on that wrist as well. There we go. And the rest of that hilt. There we go. And the chat has gone silent. Not that there's really much to say. I mean, other than just watching me do this. Not really a whole lot else going on. Craptastic. Love being sick. Not really. Only joking. Okay. Of course I don't love being sick. Who in their right mind would? Other than maybe getting off work. Or depending on your age, getting off school. I haven't been at school for 25 years. 25 plus years now, actually. Okay, so that one's armor number 7, I believe. Air Fire. Yes. Armor number 8. which is our raid armor number 2. Originally dual fire during the raid, but in the original files before it was released in game, fire spirit. Which is why the hit points on that one, or the health points on that one, are so much higher than the usual fire's armors, because they did not change the health on the amulet that went with it. So the amulet had more spirit-like stats, hence the armor having more spirit-like HP. Not anymore. Do I play? If you're asking me, yes. I play on both Android EU and Android Global. If you're asking somebody else in the chat, then you probably should probably mention specifically who you're asking, because I can't say for sure who does and who does not. I would assume pretty much everybody does, but not everyone, of course, is in the chat at the moment. There's been a few people come and go. Oops, might help if I put the layer in the right place. There we go. Oh, you are talking to me. Yes, I do play. I do not play iOS. I've had several people, I'm not sure if they're being very serious or not about it, have offered me iOS accounts if I moved over to iOS, but sorry guys, I can't stand iPhones. I never have been able to. I've never liked them. The reason why I use Paint.net is because I don't want to pay the exorbitant amounts of money that Adobe wants for Photoshop. It's ridiculous how much money they want for that application, and this does all the same things. And it does it, in my opinion, a little bit easier. I mean, I've used Photoshop at like previous jobs I've had, but I didn't like it, and I'm not going to pay Adobe the amount of money they want for that stupid thing. It's just too much money for an application I use like once a month. No, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on an application I only use once a month. Alrighty, and there is that one. I kind of like the look of it being air water a little bit better than the original, to be honest. It still has kind of those fiery bits to it, which is kind of cool, because it was originally fire and spirit, but it's air and water now, and I kind of like the look of it a little bit better than the original, to be honest. So this is 270. Yeah, 270 should be good. Whoop, what are you doing, you dumb thing? Cancel. There. Okay, so there's air and water. Oops, armor 8. Yeah. Okay, almost done. And last but not least, our third air and water. So this one, we might actually have a war and a raid that are air and water. I'll have to look it over. Not really sure yet. I think the last time, speaking of Photoshop, the last time I looked up the price for Photoshop, it was like, it was over $100 for just Photoshop. And then later on they did like the whole like Adobe package that has all the different things, like it has Photoshop, it has Air, it has all the different development things that you can use for developing stuff for Adobe. It has the full edition of Acrobat, where you can not only view but edit PDF files, blah blah blah. It was like $800. It's like, are you kidding me? What kind of crack were you smoking when you said that you want to sell that? Always a route of the crack version. I'm a little hesitant to even consider that, because many years ago, in my younger years, I got a cracked version, the eye patch version, if you will, of an application, and the only way that you could install it was by you had to go offline, you had to install this specific patch file, blah blah blah. And after that all happened, I tried the application out. It worked just fine, and then I found out I was infected with malware, and it took me like a month to get all the crap off of my computer that infected me with. And it was the crack file, the patch file, that did it. Who was playing cracked Minecraft? I don't play Minecraft at all. How would I be playing cracked Minecraft? Maybe you're not talking to me, but no, I don't play. I don't generally play games that have any cracks or hacks or whatever in them. I play them as they originally were intended to be played. And if I like a game enough, I will buy it. I'll sometimes watch Let's Plays, like people playing it and saying, oh, here's the game, blah, 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 because I want to see what it looks like. But I won't play hacked or cracked games. If I like them, I'll buy them. Which is why most of the games I play are free to play, because I don't like most of the games that are available now. And truthfully, even if I had the money, which sometimes I don't have the time. So it's kind of a moot point. I don't have the time to play games really anymore, other than KnD. I mean, that's primarily for me, at least on the weekends. Like today, you know, I was hitting earlier in the raid. So okay, there's our last armor. There's our air and water. That's our last dude. Whoops. Click. There you go. Paint.net's freaking out on me. It's lagging hard. Oh, well, yeah. I don't want to even spend. I don't want to pay a subscription for something that I'll use once a month. And that's $15 a month I wouldn't need to spend. Well, in your case, $15 a month. That's Australian dollars. So it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper for US. Not much, probably, but it's still money I wouldn't want to spend for an application I don't use all that often. So, I mean, if you have to use it for work, then obviously yes, go ahead and spend it, and you can get reimbursed for work or whatever. But I just don't. I don't need it. I don't use it, so I just use the free applications that do the same thing. Anyway, Armor 9, Air Water. Okay, so this is the last. So let's close that. Let's create a new sheet. Oops, new sheet. Let's see here. Let me go to my other window and look, see what size I'm working with here, because that's the old one. I don't want that one. Hang on one second. Let me move some windows around here for a moment. I gotta look and see what my last Datamine was prior to last month, because last month was humongous. 1550 by 1200. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. 1550 by 1200. Okay, move this back over here. Okay, we can now go out to here. There we are. 1550 by 1200. We'll just start with that. New layer, and we're going to put that in the background layer. Oh, no, I do want that there. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Gotta build my squares. So 350-ish, roughly, down to about 700. Whoops, too far. Right about there. There's my two lines. Okay, so now if I go to here, I should now be able to go to my armors and copy and paste them and have them be on top of the line. Perfect. Okay, there. Alright, so starting off, there's our exclusive, which coincidentally happened to be the first armor in the files. And then we have our air and water, which is the Reskin armor right there. It's the Wildfire Torch plate originally. There's our Reskin number 2. That's the Spectral Fins Scutarius war armor from a bit over a year ago now, I think. There is one of the that's the one of the Iron Fires. That's one of 2. Right about there. Oh, come on, stop it, you doofy thing. And there is raid armor number 1, which is air and earth. I may be a little bit wide. I can shorten this up though. That's fine. I may actually put that. No, I'm going to leave it where it is. I'm not going to mess with it. I was thinking I could do like 4, and then 4, and then a 5th kind of off to the side all by itself, but that would me not have to move everything around. And I'm truthfully a little sick and don't feel much like doing that, so I'm not going to do it. Don't feel like it. So there's air and fire number 2, which I'll put right about there. That works. Move them down just a hair. There we go. Air and water number 2. This is the raid armor number 2. And air and water. What the hell? How did I get all the way down to 9? I'm on. Oh, I guess that is 9. Wait a minute. What the hell? How did I skip armors? I skipped armors. Hang on a second. Let's delete that one. I'm going to undo. Undo. Okay. Air and earth. Okay. And air and water. There we go. Somehow I got my order of my numbers all screwed up. There we go. Air and spirit. That's my notification. Twitch notifications that are late. As usual. There we go. That's a little bit more. That makes a little bit more sense. So there's air and spirit, and then air and water. That's our second rate armor. And I'm still missing an armor here. What the hell is going on? I'm just skipping them. I skipped another one. Let's delete that one. Air and fire now goes up here. There we go. God damn. You'd think I did have Dayquil and my brain's fried. But I haven't. I haven't actually had any Dayquil today at all. I probably should have taken some before I started this, but oh well, too late now. Okay, now we have 9 armors laid out like they're supposed to be. Okay, much better. Much better. Okay, so there is the 9 armors. Next up, we're going to go through the Amulets and Rings. Stop it. Goofy damn thing. We have the amulet for that one. And we have the ring for that one. About like so. Amulet for the air and water. First air and water. And the amulet. Those are the original ring and amulet sets from the original armor, of course, just recolored. Then we have the Spectral Fin. Reskin, which is now air and earth. And while I'm on the topic, this one is probably going to be a seasonal, because the other one over here is raid. So I have been wrong. They have done different things than that in the past, and so they've actually made an armor that looked like it was very much a raid armor into a seasonal and vice versa. But usually they don't do reskins as seasonals, but they have had a few here and there. Like the current month, right now, we have the Earth and Fire, which is a reskin of an armor that was originally Earth and Fire. So nothing really changed on the elements. The looks of the armor is essentially the same, just a slightly different, kind of more darker color scheme to it, but essentially the same armor, really, in every way. Just much higher stats because it's a newer armor. Okay, there's that one. I didn't think they were going to make it a reskin, or make it a seasonal, but they did. So I have been wrong. Alright, there's that one. That's the original armor. And then we have that one. That's the original ring. Recolored, of course. And then we have this one, which is the original the original amulet. And we have the original ring, again, recolored. Exactly the same as the original, like so. Okay, and last but not least, we have our air and water, the third air and water. If my keyboard would actually alt-tab for me, that would be very helpful. Okay, there's that one. So there's the armors for now. I still have to add in elements and all that other good stuff, but that's a good starting point. We are now at an hour and a half. And I'm, thanks to everyone if you've been hanging out with me this whole time. I'm going to really quickly adjust one thing here and make that window just slightly bigger, because it doesn't look like to me it's really that big. It's not really that wide. Let me make it wider. How are you doing that, you doofy thing? It's making it huge. I guess I can't change it while I'm live. Maybe I can't. I'll just put it back the way it was. Changing my things around while I'm streaming. That's really smart. Don't mind me. Okay. We're going to go back to here. And we're going to make a new layer to put our elements down. And don't mind the little flashes, that's just me switching screens. So now everything this month is going to be air-based. So first of all, let's put the air element down here. This one is dual. And dual air. Like so. And then we have air and water right about here. Air and earth. Try not to get it too close to the feet, making sure there's still room for the other element. This one's air and fire. about like, y'all. And I'm not doing this to be perfect or exact every single time. I'm just getting them in the general vicinity of where I want them, and I can always, of course, move them if I don't like where I put them. This just kind of gets me where I need to be, more or less. Air and water. That's air and water as well. Make that one a little bit farther away. Air and fire. Like that. And the only air and spirit in the files. I need to give that one a little bit more room because Spirit's one of the larger ones. So let's just do Spirit since I'm here. Might as well. There's that one. And then we have Air and Fire, which is right here. And right here. There we go. Now we're going to do Air and Earth, which is right here. I may have to move that one over just a hair. Yeah, it's a little bit close, but I'm going to move it. Don't like it being quite that close to the feet. That works. Okay. And the other air and earth is over here. And that one I think I may have also put a little bit too close. Yep, it's a little bit too close. Definitely got to space that one off a bit. And I put it in a different layer so I can move it without it interfering with that. So I can put it right on top of it if I need to. Not that I'm going to, but because that would annoy the crap out of me, personally. Okay, and now finally we have water. Air and water. That one's also a little bit too close. I'm definitely going to have to move that one as well. That one's a little bit close. Not too bad, but I'm going to move it anyway, just to be safe. And, whoop, whoa, way too far. Slow down there, Turbo. Okay, and that one can go right about there. That one's actually pretty good. Okay, let's see how these look. Looking pretty good. Okay, so there's the elements. And as a quick test before I move on, I'm going to save this really quick. Move you out of the way. Back up to my folder where I normally save these guys. Right about there. This is going to be 2019. Oh my god, it's already almost 2019. Okay, there we go. So as a quick test before I move on, I always like to save it, and then I jump back here to the very background, and I drop in some black. Oh, I still have something highlighted. Whoops, hang on. There we go. Yep, perfect. Cool. Alright. Now I'm going to put in all the rest of my text boxes and all that fun stuff, and we'll be getting closer to being done. Okay, so from here, I'll move this, of course, if I need to. I gotta go higher. I do 28, I think. I can never remember what I use from one month to the next, so I change it around a lot. Okay, let's resize that box a little. Make it a little bit smaller than it was originally. Made it a little bit too big. And then I'll just delete the excess. Ta-da! Okay, so there's that. And I do have it off center, which is what I figured I was going to do initially. Okay. Put this about right. It's not too far off, I suppose, but this file is also going to be shortened up a little bit. Let me actually do that really quick while I'm thinking about it. I don't need it this long. About 1450 actually should work nicely. Ta-da! Much better. Okay. Now, let's get this, and to see if we can get this a little bit more centered, where it's supposed to be. It's actually about right. Looks good to me. A little bit to the left. Okay, good enough. Alright. Now, we're going to go back to the materials. Put them in here. There's material number 1. What is my email going off for? Stop it, phone. I'm busy. And there is material number 2, which is a kite. So we have a air balloon, hot air balloon, and a kite. If I had to venture a guess, I'm going to say the kite's the regular material and the air balloon is the exclusive material, but I have been wrong, of course, on that in the past, so don't quote me on that. Alright. Now, we have bosses, which I'm going to create another layer for bosses, pets, all the rest. I'm going to put them right here below the center, like I normally do. And right about here. That should work. Make sure I've got them roughly about the same height. Looks about right there. And I'm going to get my elements now. Oops, I'm zooming in the wrong window. There we go. Okay. We have air. And air. Whoop. Slow down. About like that. Actually, I put a little bit too low. Okay, that looks good. Now we got earth. Put right about here. In the water. Right about here. Okay. Excuse me. Cough, cough, cough. It seemed a little bit off-centered to me. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's save that again, just to be sure. Alright, and I'm going to make sure I have enough room. Zoom in here. I may actually have to throw those over just a little bit. It doesn't seem quite centered. There we go. Much better. Okay. There's that. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to put in my pets, the cape, finish up. So we're at the hour and 40-minute mark, which is about average most of the time. It's usually around that time frame somewhere. Alright, and back to my folder here. Now I need the pets. So pet number 1, tier 1 specifically. Put that one right about... I'm going to probably end up shortening up the end of this as well, so I'm going to put this a little bit higher. Probably about there. Tier 2, right about there. Tier 3, right about. Trying to get these lined up just about where I need them. Oops. Right about there. Yep, that looks good there. Tier 4, which is right about here, and I probably will move these up just slightly once I have them all laid out. I just want to get them more or less where they're supposed to be. Oops, too high. Right about there. I'll move it over just a titch. And then I will zoom in, and I will get just really close to that top edge. And it'll jump over to the side. I don't really care about that part though. And now I'm going to move it up to where it's a little bit more in line with those three. There we go. Much better. Okay, now I can do my text boxes for my pets, about like that, and my bosses, about like that. I may have made my pet box a little bit too small. Nope, I was wrong. I got it perfect size. Derp. Like I said, I'm a little fuzzy in the brain today. Stuffed up head, didn't sleep well, all that fun stuff. Okay, there we go. Now, time for the cape. Cape's going to go right about here. That works right there. And a text box, about like here. That works. A little bit small, but that's okay. And save that really quick. And again, get my paint here and go background, background, background. Groovy. Okay, so let's undo all that and do another save. now I'm going to... I think I'm done, other than just maybe trimming up the bottom edge of this. Let's do... Go right to 1100. I cut right up against the edge of that, but I can always move it. Okay. Let's move that one up just a little bit. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Derp. No wonder I'm not getting anything. Okay, let's try that again. This time in the right layer. There we go, much better. Okay, now if I go to here, the bottom edge, yeah, 1100 it is. Ta-da! Much better. Okay. Much better. And I may end up moving the bosses up a little bit as well, but that's okay. I can do that in a minute. Okay. So now it's time to drop in the background layer. Whoops. Fill that all in. Okay. Text. My color palette out here. We're going to center, and we're going to drop this down to about 22. So first armor is going to be top row. So first row, first armor. Okay, so centered first row, first armor. Or fifth armor. Derp. What am I doing? Fifth armor. Okay. All right. Move that one over to about... I'm probably am going to move the bosses up. Actually, I don't want to put this in the bottom layer anyway. I want to put it back here. So this is first row, fifth armor. About like that. And then this one is going to be second row, third armor. About like that. Okay, now I am going to move my bosses and the box for them up a little bit so it's not right up against that bottom border. Looks a little better. Okay, now I'm going to put all my other stuff in over here on the bottom right. Put that right there. I hate when it does this. Jumps all over the place on me. This is January 2019. I may actually end up moving this. I may end up moving the cape really quick. Actually, let me undo that. I'm going to move the cape up a bit as well. Just to kind of get it out of my way. Not that it's really in my way too much, but just enough. There we go. Much bigger. Okay. Now, click out of that. Back into here. January 2019. God, I cannot type today. And we're going to put another one up here that says air month. Oh, sorry. Duh. This is season 30 air. Just so I have that clear separation that this is a separate month, or this is air month for season 30, and I'm going to make that one a little bit brighter to grab your attention. There we go. That's it. We're done. So I will be sending this out the usual ways here in just a little bit after I finish it and save it all. And I'll be uploading this video to YouTube and Twitch in just a few minutes as well once I finish up. But that's it for now. If anyone have any problems or questions, whatever, beyond that, holler at me. Thanks, guys. Have a great one and a great rest of your weekend. Talk to you soon.